Napoleon Hill was the author, and one of his key concepts in that book was that entrepreneurs and anyone with like-minded practices should be in a masterminds group. And basically what that means is when 1 to 2 or at least 2 people get together and they have common goals and purpose, they are much more likely to succeed in that purpose and in those goals. And I think for a healthcare system, health and wellness system that is, this kind of very fractured. You know, if you don't have these acronyms after your name or doctor in front of your name, you know, we don't like you, you're useless, so you don't move, you're useless. I think if we came together, we'd be much stronger and just learn from each other. And basically that's what this Masterminds group is for. So welcome, I'm happy that you're here. Just real brief on Greater Than, we're new, we just started 4 months ago. And the concept is to bring together all these different disciplines of, we have personal training, we have massage therapy, we have mobility specialists, we have strength and conditioning specialists, we have yoga, we have massage, we have chiropractic, we have basically everything you need in one roof. Granted, these people have their own specialties, but bringing together all these different types of specialties under one roof and having one central location to help heal clients and patients that come in is kind of the concept that we're trying to create, as well as developing a culture based in community and based in love and based in things that maybe you don't see outside in the health and fitness and wellness community. So that's what we're about here at Greater Than. And this is Coach Mo. He's going to start us off. So every month we're going to have this event, the Masterminds event, and it's going to be on Sundays at 1 o'clock. And we're going to have different speakers from the health and wellness community come in. And if anyone has somebody that they would like to hear from, we are more than open to reaching out to these people and having them as speakers for these events. So we're going to have Coach Mo speak on mindset and fear first. And the way it's going to go down is we're going to do like a 15-minute presentation, and then we'll have 5 minutes for questions, and then we'll kind of have a 5-minute turnover. So Coach is going to go first, and then we'll have Dr. Ron Tremendous speak on the multidisciplinary practice of bringing teams together, basically, and then
you're trying to steal my talk up there.
Sorry.
Calm down.
Sorry. And then Daryl Neal is going to speak on a specific heart rate training for endurance athletes. He's a 10-time Ironman athlete, and unfortunately his daughter Chelsea, who is also an Ironman athlete, couldn't be here because she's sick, just like everyone else around this area. It's crazy. But without further ado, this is Mo, and I'll let him take the floor.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna try it for 15 minutes. I get this speech as a keynote. It's usually around 50. So there are a lot of things that go into with stories and examples and such. So just really quickly on my background, I've been in the fitness industry for 24 years. Degree in exercise science and physiology. I was a strength and conditioning coach at Northwestern State University. After that, moved to St. Louis. I've worked with Olympians, professional athletes, everyday folks. I train and coach endurance athletes of all shapes, sizes, and abilities. And now I'm one of the directors at the Adaptive Training Foundation. So we work with critically wounded veterans and civilians that have suffered from amputations, spinal cord injuries, neurological diseases like Parkinson's and stroke. We take it through a 9-week training cycle that we call Redefine. And my job is working with them on mindset, on teaching meditation, teaching breath work, and teaching them how to overcome the limiting beliefs that they've been unfortunately told by experts in the medical community that you'll never walk again, you'll never do this again. And when the mind believes that, the human believes that, then that's where you go towards. But what we've been able to do is take those same individuals and say, well, how about let's not believe that just yet? Because it's not up to me to say whether you can walk or not. So what we do is we change their language, we change their mindset, we get them around a tribe, a community, and we surround them with love, like what Scott said, and incredible things start to happen. We have quadriplegics that haven't walked in 10 years start to walk again. We have one of our athletes that is a complete spinal cord injury, start to get tone back in the erector spinae of his back and start to have functionality again. So all these things we do leads then to what we call defining a posture. So I do that. My background is also in holistic nutrition. I've studied natural medicine and holistic nutrition since 2004, and then really started diving into the mindset piece of this several years ago. But when I was coaching Ironman athletes, getting them ready for those races, it's more mental than it is physical, because you could have the best training plan in the world. You could be at the peak physical shape, but when your mind goes in the gutter, everything goes downhill, which a lot of you that have raced, or if you've ever raced an Ironman or done anything challenging like that before, you can be over-prepared, but if your mind isn't prepared, it's all for naught. So, so that's a bit about me. So the speech that the thing I'm talking to you guys about today is how to become fearful. Because we have this concept, this misconception that we need to be fearless. Right? You guys remember that bumper sticker with the bad boys thing that says fearless on it? And that's what we see. Like, we see all these bad dudes, we see samurais, we see these people, like, oh, those guys are fearless. That's bullshit. They are afraid. They're very scared. It's not about not being fearless. It's not about not feeling anxiety, not feeling stress, not feeling pressure. It's about feeling all those things, but understanding the moment you feel that you're on the right path. And it's about being fearful. And it's what you do with that matters. Because everything you want is on the other side of fear. Right? And I love asking this question. So how many of you guys in the room have ever survived the most terrible thing that's ever happened to you? Right? Everybody. Yeah. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's, if it's a terrible car wreck, if it's a divorce, if it's whatever. We've all survived that thing that we were so scared that we didn't think we could ever get past. But you did it, right? So you've proven to yourself you can already do it. So what we do is we change the language on how we see ourselves being in that fear-filled state, and we look forward to it. So that way, when you do become afraid of something again, you're like, oh, I'm tracking right. And you go down to the system of what we're going to talk about in a minute of how to approach those fearful situations. But it's all perception. So what is this?
Chair.
All right. What is it if I stand on it? It's a stool. What is it if I pick it up and I hit you with it? Right? One of my clients said, looks like a piece of art to me. It's a piece of art. You put it up on a pedestal. It can be artwork. Right? So this is exactly what you see it as. Okay? It can be a chair, it can be a ladder, it can be a weapon, it can be a stool, it can be anything you want. It's exactly what you see. Your perception is your reality. Right? When working with adaptive athletes, if I say you're never going to walk again, then that's your perception, you're not even going to try. The body's not going to respond. Okay? Because the brain doesn't know the difference versus me thinking about holding this laptop in my right hand or actually doing it. If I'm visualizing it and I feel it and I can feel it, if I can create the tactile sensation of this laptop in my right hand, my brain doesn't know the difference between reality and perception. So it is what we create it to be. Perfect. So I've created this model, and this is what I've come up with, and this is what I found in my years of doing this work, and particularly doing my work with adaptive athletes. And this is the root cause of fear, which we're going to break down today. So what happens is we're afraid of failure. We have these false expectations. We cannot accept who we are, where we are in the situation, and we have negative reactions to situations. You think about how many times someone says something, you receive a text message, open an email, and the first thing you do is react negatively. Right? Because we're typically afraid that someone's attacking us. We're afraid that we're being thought less than, or something around that. Okay? So what we do is we turn that around, and we shift that fear of failure into focus on what we can do right. We get excited about the fear that's in front of us. We use it to create awareness to the situation, not run from it. And all of those things create resolve. So that's how we will use fear to overcome and achieve and exceed all of your goals. I love this quote from Bob Hitchens: attitude is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure. It really is, right? So all the people that I work with, the adaptive athletes particularly, is they get excited about what they're going to do. If you're in a wheelchair, our athletes that are spinal cord injuries, they're afraid of falling. All of them are, because they've been told you probably shouldn't fall again. And they just don't know what's going to happen. They're afraid the hardware in their neck might rupture, something might happen, and they'll be even more paralyzed, which is not the case. But they're going to have to fall. But it's not until they learn to fall and they realize that, oh, I can get back up and do this, that then they start to exceed those expectations that they put on themselves. So we teach them to go into that. It's like, okay, today you're gonna fall. They're like, oh my God, what? Like, yes, we're gonna make you fall. I actually worked with a guy, he's 6'4", fell off a mountain in Big Bear 11 years ago, broke every bone in his body, broke his spine, had a hip replacement. Very tall, frail man. He was terrified to fall again because he fell a couple years before he came to our program and really injured his knee. And so the second day of the program, I had him stand up and take a step, and then 2 days later he came back, and we have a big long turf in our facility. So I had him stand up, and he was doing well, he'd stand up, and he was just so afraid, he told himself he couldn't do this, that he wouldn't even allow himself to take a step. Well, 2 days before, I had him take 2 steps. I'm like, see, you can step. And he was really excited about it. So we did it again, and I had his walker just in front of him, and he took a couple steps, he took a couple more, and I took his walker and ran to the other side of the gym, and then I ran to the other side of the turf, which was about 20 feet away, and I just stood there. I was like, okay, come here. And he looked at me, he's like, what? I'm like, come here. You're not getting your walker back. I know you can walk. You know you can walk. Do it. And he walked to me. That was the first time he had walked in 10 years. Why? Because he used the fear to do the right things, right? And eventually he did fall. He fell one day and he thought his life was over. He turned all red and he was like, oh my God. I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I don't know. Are you sure? Move your hands, move everything around. You move everything around, you kind of, if you guys have kids, I don't have nieces and nephews, they just get all wound up and you're like, are you okay? Like, I don't know. And then they realize they're safe and they're like, oh, okay. So this happened with Joe. Once he realized that he was actually okay, we stood him back up. So you're good, check everything out. He's like, yeah, I'm good. So okay, guess what? So what? We're gonna do it again. So when he got some pads, we made him fall again, and made him fall again. So Joe, on day 1, took him 2 minutes and 54 seconds to stand up from the ground using his walker, to go from just laying down to standing up. 7 weeks into the program, only because we made him go into that fear, in 2 minutes, he would fall down, roll up, get back up, and did it 7 times. Right? What did we do? We didn't do a damn thing. We just opened the door to show him what's possible in the face of fear. Was he afraid? Yes, he was afraid. He still doesn't like to fall today. But he does it because he knows that's what it takes to evolve. Right? So there's something about fear. There was a study done in a college in Iran, I believe it was, and they took a lot of individuals, they did a survey of school, and they found out people that were afraid of snakes. Deathly afraid of snakes. And what they did was they put them in an fMRI machine, and they put snakes open on this little button, on this little track. And what they could do is they had 2 buttons. They could push the button to make the snake go away from them, or they could push the button and make the snake come towards them. Well, when fear is present, the amygdala is fired up in the brain. But what they found out was these people that were deathly afraid of snakes, if they push the button to make the snake come towards them anyway, this part of their brain, which is called the subgalual anterior cingulate cortex, fires. So this is scientific proof that in the face of fear, there's an area in our brain that's activated and fired. So again, it's not about not being afraid, it's about being afraid of doing it anyway. Because when you do that, that's when you begin to walk again. That's when you guys can begin to exceed your expectations, whatever it is that you're afraid of. I love this quote, every next level of life you will demand a new you. And sometimes, I say all the time, most of the time, you have to be broken in order to achieve that new version of yourself. So what that means is we've got to fail. We're all in the health profession. We all either do triathlon, or we work out, or we do things physical in nature, right? So you know what it is like to fail. That's the point of working out. That's the point of doing training sessions. That's the point of doing things that are challenging, is to make us fail, because that's where the growth happens. But there are certain things that we still don't want to fail at, especially when it comes to our businesses. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, we're all really good at the physical. We're good at talking to clients. We're good at making people work. But oftentimes what we're not good at as entrepreneurs in this realm is stepping out of our comfort zone, speaking to new people, making presentations, doing whatever it is, whatever that fear is for you. That's what we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to look like we don't know what we're talking about, right? That's usually what keeps us from doing it. But that's the failure that we're holding on to. We're afraid of embarrassment. We're afraid of judgment. We're afraid that people will think we're less than, we'll get in trouble. But what happens is when you turn that into focus, then the magic happens. I'll show you this video in just a second. This is Mike Moss laying down. He was one of our athletes. He has Parkinson's. He was diagnosed in 2012, 61 years old at the time. Mike could not walk across the room when he first came to us. Actually, it took him 2.5 minutes to walk from there to about midway through the room, and then he collapsed because his left leg would give out because of the Parkinson's. And he would fight it so much. But what we were able to do with Mike was through breathing, through meditation, through visualization and focus, he was so afraid of failing because he was a South African aerobatic. He was South African Special Forces back in the 70s. So he was a bad man. And he didn't like to fail. He didn't like to look weak. He didn't like to look less than. But when he accepted where he was, he accepted Parkinson's, and through visualization, through breathing again, he was able to start to control it, able to start to make the tremors subside. So this is a quick video of Mike one day, and this isn't one of his bad tremors, but he's having a pretty solid one. So what we found out also, for you, all of you guys that are into anatomy, if I put his spine in a neutral position on the roller and just kept it neutral with his head down to his tail and had him breathe through his diaphragm and start to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, then have him visualize something that he used to be able to do when he didn't have Parkinson's, the brain recognizes that. So look at his right hand. So he's breathing, he's going through it. He's going through his visualization. I'm on the other side talking him through it, teaching him how to breathe in this position. And there he goes. So in 40 seconds, Mike stopped Parkinson's. And he would stay that way. He would stay that way for an extended period of time. Now it would come back, but he was able to control it. And that was 6 weeks into the program. That was 6 weeks into him literally not being able to say his name and what happened to him within a 3-minute window because of the tremors were so bad. Now, at the end of our program, 9 weeks later, we went to a trip at Lake Greenville and did water skiing, adaptive water skiing. Mike was literally running up and down the dock, jumping on jet skis, helping people on and off, like he was normal, right? Because once he accepted it and he used that fear of failure into focus and created attention into around what was happening, what was causing those tremors, and what was causing him to react so negatively, he was able to take that and then turn that into control and focus. So whatever it is for you, what that fear is, that's good. Be afraid of it. But then use that to focus, right? Use that to focus and create attention and awareness to what you need to get done. The next one is expectations to excitement. It's a quick story. So, anyone familiar with Danny Way? Is anybody in here a skater? Yes. Great Wall of China. First man and only man to jump the Great Wall of China on a skateboard. Danny Way did this on a broken ankle. And when you get down here, this is a 10-story ramp. When he came down this ramp down right here, the force that was on his broken ankle was 4 G's. That's 4 times his body weight on a broken ankle. He broke it the day before. He wasn't supposed to jump, and he did it anyway because he's a skater. He doesn't listen to rules. And he hit the side. There's a video of it. He hit it and broke his ankle and went to the hospital. They didn't cast it. He had to climb up 10 stories on a broken ankle and then jump the Great Wall of China. He did that 3 times that day on no anesthesia, no painkillers. The coolest thing about this is Danny Way is deathly terrified of heights. Scared to death. How the hell is he going to get up 10 stories? Look, and you see him, there's a documentary about it. He looks over the edge, he's holding on to the side of the ramp like, But what he did, it's like all of you and even me, you look at this, you're like, hell no, I can't do that. You've just created a false expectation. You've created a narrative in your mind just now when you saw that you couldn't do it, right? But when you turn that false expectation into excitement, and you're like, okay, cool, here's what I need to do this right. Here's what I need to do to be successful. That's how the body's going to respond, okay? And that's what this man did, and that's what we do with our athletes. That's what I do with my clients as well. So again, it's just about turning the expectation into excitement. And then the last one really quick is turning acceptance into awareness. So it's accepting who we are and where we are, right? You aren't, and what we tell our athletes, what I tell my special forces, military veterans, what I tell the civilians that have just gotten into a car wreck or lost their leg or legs due to a motorcycle wreck, I don't care who you were. I don't care who you used to be. Who you were yesterday doesn't matter. Because as long as we hold on to that past version of ourselves, we can never fully be present in right now. We can never fully go into the future. So you have to accept who you are and where you are in your situation. And then that creates awareness around what you need to do to be better. And then you can grow. So I have a client named Jennifer Redmond. She's 58 years old. At 55, she came to me, multiple sclerosis, 7 spinal surgeries, fused here. Parents committed double suicide 4 years prior. She wouldn't even walk into the gym. I had to convince her to come in and have a conversation with me to exercise. So we come in. She didn't know what to do. I took her to a bench, had her sit down, stand up on the bench. She did that 6 times. Took her over to a Smith machine. She did push-ups, incline. She did 8 of them. I was like, great, you just did your first workout. She's like, what? Well, yeah, that was it. She had created this false expectation, and she wouldn't accept where she was. She thought she had to look like this person in order to start fitness, right? Like, no, you're perfect just the way you are. So from that, we started to build trust. She started to come in more. She started to do all these things that she didn't think she could do because she was bringing about awareness to her body and her situation. So fast forward a year and a half, and she was at the same time training around our adaptive athletes. So she was working out alongside quadruple amputees. We're flipping 200-pound tires. She was seeing other folks do incredible things, and she was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a Spartan race. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Never gonna tell you no. I don't care if you want to run to the end of the world, let's do it. So we're like, okay, let's do it. So we trained, we kept going. A year and a half later, we do the AT&T Spartan Sprint. And that's her right there. So she went from 245 pounds down to 220 here. Could do 6, sitting down, not even supporting herself, sitting down, standing back up. 8, basically vertical push-ups to do it a Spartan race in the AT&T Stadium where you hit every step on the upper ring and you go down the basement. So it's 3 miles, and about 2.5 of those miles are stairs or incline, right? 2 years prior, she wouldn't even walk in the gym. Until she accepted who she was, she brought about awareness of her situation that she was able to grow, right? And when you do all that, that creates the resolve, go rapid, right? So all these things you do, you have to tap into focus. You have to tap into excitement. You have to become aware of where you are. And all those things create the resolve that you need in order to get into your fear and be successful. It all comes down, it starts with breath. The first thing I teach people, the first thing you did when you came to this world, the last thing you will do when you leave is take a deep breath. Every one of us. But somehow in the middle we lose that. Like right now, we don't know how to breathe. Breathing is at the core of everything we do. Before I can get you to really fully immerse yourself into this and to do what you need to do to be great, you have to breathe properly. So tapping into the breath, taking time, taking space, and becoming aware of how you breathe when you get stressed out, when you feel anxious, when you feel afraid, is the key. So become aware of that, right? Use that awareness to create affirming language. Don't use words like I can't, I'm not able to, I won't, we shouldn't. Change that language around to what you can and you will do, right? What I have all my athletes do, all my clients, is create an end-of-day checklist. And it is what went well, what can I learn, and what are my opportunities? All those things are affirming, so at the end of the day they can look at it, and I have them also go into a fear. What's a fear that I'm going to go into today? How am I going to, if I've got to have a conversation with my boss, I'm afraid. What specifically am I going to focus on in that conversation? What am I going to get excited about before that conversation, during the conversation? What do I need to be aware of before I walk into the room with my boss about my body, about my breathing, about my sense of presence? And how's that going to create resolve in the situation? And I have people write that down. So you do it, you create it. Because remember, if I say it, if I think it, and I write it down, the brain thinks it actually happened. So that way when I go into that situation, I've already done it. Okay? So the more you do that, that becomes how you operate. So I want you to be afraid. I want you to get anxious. I want you to be nervous, because that is where the magic happens, right? Okay. Thank you guys. Any questions?
Where can we find you?
Here's my Instagram, and you can email me. I also have my website, my speaker's website is Brossette Performance Coaching. I'm an Adaptive Training Foundation. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. We're located in Carrollton. Just look up Adaptive Training Foundation. I do private client coaching for mindset, fear, limiting beliefs as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
What about your book?
Yes, my book will be out this spring. So I've done, and Chelsea's in the book. She's one of the first stories. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's incredible. I'll love to tell that story another time. Yeah, my book
Marketing
is.
fee?
It's what?
Marketing fee?
Yeah. I'll give you 3%. Yeah, my book is going to be called. It's called Fearful, but it's actually you're going to write it. I give you some examples. I go through these things, and then you finish it. So the goal of the book is for you to write your outcome. So all the books, like these books, are great. I recommend those two. That one's great as well. And all books tell us what to do. My book is going to be part of giving you a little bit, and then I'm throwing you out and teaching you to fish, and you're going to write the rest of it. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
What kind of success then do you have with your holistic medicine with your patients that have central nervous, peripheral nervous issues? What do you use specifically?
For the nervous system, it is visualizing. You tap into the breath, and then you visualize the nerve healing. You visualize yourself being calm. Whatever the issue is, I have them literally visualize the body healing itself.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been working.
Why don't you talk a little bit about maybe breath techniques that you endorse, or if you're wanting to learn more about breathing techniques, what are some good sources for that?
For breathing, I mean, honestly, man, the best thing for breathing is just learning to do box diaphragmatic breath. So box breathing, just nice diaphragmatic breathing. When you breathe in, the stomach presses out. And try to breathe in only through your nose. Breathe out through your nose all day long. Right? There's actually a great book. I don't know the name of it. I'll send it to you.
No problem.
Yeah, there's a great. I'll send it to you. But all day, breathe through your nose. When you're training, as much as you can, breathe through your nose.
Oxygen advantage.
Oxygen advantage. Bingo. Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier about holistic nutrition with your clients. What are some things that you do with your clients, specifically addressing their nutrition that helps them overcome certain mindset?
A lot of time it's as far as the nutrition goes, I have them eliminate. I put them on a primal nutrition plan. I have them eliminate processed foods, eliminate sugars as much as possible. Around times they need to, they'll have carbohydrates and some fruit, but it's more fat, protein, and vegetables, because that will mitigate the inflammation. It's going to cause anxiety. It's like with Parkinson's. Parkinson's does incredible on a keto diet. Traumatic brain injury and PTS does incredible on a keto diet, because the brain is 60% saturated fat. So the more we can mitigate inflammation of the brain revolving around processed foods and sugars, then those things start to subside. Yeah. Anyone else?
What if you've got a broken nose and you can't really breathe through your nose?
I get it. Yeah, this has been broken a couple times. It's actually been reconstructed. Can you do the breathe right nasal strips? Does that help?
I tried it for sleep there.
Oh, yeah. I can't. Yeah, I'm still working on that too. But so number one, you can probably do it if you can get air through your nose. Number one, you might be able to push your hands here and push up. Now I might open it up a little bit. The breathe right strips will help. If you can just sit here and breathe this way, and understand it's going to feel a little bit stressed, but you're okay, right? And that's that fear. You're going through the fear of, oh my God, I can't take enough air. But when you calm down and tell yourself, I'm breathing in fine, I'm safe, you'll be able to sustain it longer, right? So I get it. Yeah.
So I teach breathing. The first thing I do is teach breathing because I found out that most people don't ever work on that movement. So like you were saying, like I can't do it. It's something like deadlifting 500 pounds in practice. So breathing through your nose is not very natural. You have to practice sitting on your bed and just using the muscles to breathe like that. I've got female that holds her out for 9 minutes. And
Wow.
when she first started, she had an issue with the vocal cords where she couldn't open up the vocal cords, and then they found out she had some scarring there. So when she tried to exercise, she couldn't exercise because it would just shut down.
Yeah.
She got it before the surgery, so I got a shot before the surgery. She did just under 5 minutes breath hold. After the surgery, she did 9 minutes the first time.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, but we did practice at a very low level, because if she did it fast, her O2 sound would go down.
Yeah.
So I had to go really slow, and then after the surgery, boom, she didn't get any of that.
Perfect.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, start small, that's great.
Breathing plug, next weekend, Shireen from Wim Hof Method will be here, and we'll be doing Wim Hof. So that's on all of our social media and our website, so.
All right, guys.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We're gonna do a quick changeover, so if you wanna get up and stretch your legs or dingle,